A controversial penalty decision has got everyone talking, a major development in the manager hunt, and a huge boost in the title race after our rivals slipped up. Plus, a Celtic star made headlines with an incredible performance. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Celtic's 3-1 victory over Motherwell contained a moment that looks straightforward to most people watching, yet one comment on BBC Sport Sound during the game still managed to raise a few eyebrows. The flashpoint came from a Celtic corner during the second half. The ball drifted to the back post where a Celtic star had found space and looked set to nod the ball home from close range. With the delivery dropping perfectly for the Japanese forward, Motherwell defender Emmanuel Longolo wrapped his arms around him and hauled him to the ground. In real time, referee John Beaton waved play on. However, VAR official Kevin Clancy quickly intervened and asked Beaton to take another look at the incident on the pitch-side monitor. After reviewing the footage, the referee overturned his original decision, awarded Celtic a penalty, and produced a red card for Longolo for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity. It was a turning point in the match. Thomas Kvankara stepped up to convert the penalty, putting Celtic ahead and leaving Motherwell with 10 men for the remainder of the game. The Hoops went on to secure a 3-1 win that, coupled with Hearts' later defeat to Kilmarnock, leaves Celtic just 2 points off the top of the Premiership with 8 matches remaining. Yet even after the VAR intervention, BBC Sport Sound pundit Stephen Craigan was not convinced. Speaking during the commentary, the former Motherwell defender said, "I think he ducks down. It's not the force of Longolo that puts him down. I think he does down himself and tries to head it in. It's a big call. It doesn't look like a penalty, but stranger things have happened. It was a curious take once the replay had been shown. The footage clearly shows Longolo pulling the Celtic player to the ground as the Celtic forward prepared to meet the ball at the back post. Without that contact, he would almost certainly have had a free header from a couple of yards out. That is precisely why the red card followed once the penalty was awarded. Longolo had prevented a clear goal-scoring opportunity. To be fair to Craigan, live commentary often leaves pundits reacting in the moment before multiple angles are available. Perhaps after watching the clip back properly, he might come to a different conclusion. On replay, it looks about as clear a penalty as you will see. Now for the main story, as a major candidate has emerged in the race for the Celtic manager's job. An expert with deep connections at Parkhead believes the club is now set to make their move for a surprise name. That name is Jens Berthel Asko, and he's done a remarkable job during his first season at Fir Park. Motherwell are sitting fourth in the Scottish Premiership table, just 5 points below Celtic. As interim boss Martin O'Neill will stand down as Celtic manager at the end of the season, Asko is now among the leading contenders to replace the 74-year-old at Parkhead. Aberdeen's former chief Keith Wyness, who served as CEO at Pittodrie between 2000 and 2004, had lengthy spells as the chief of Everton and Aston Villa and now runs a football consultancy advising elite clubs, believes Asko has got Motherwell playing the best football in the league. Speaking on the new edition of Football Insider's Inside Track podcast, Wyness thinks Asko could be a good fit for Celtic. He told Football Insider's Inside Track podcast, "I think it's pretty much nailed on. I think he's going to be the one that Celtic are going to go for. It makes a lot more sense than Wilfried Nancy, that's for sure. And I think there's some amazing stats that I saw coming out now that I think this time of the season, for the very first time, there are 2 clubs that have got better goal differences than the old firm. And that's the only thing that's ever happened before, or at least way back to the 60s before something like that happened. Motherwell are probably playing the best football in the league themselves. Hearts are obviously playing well, but Motherwell are playing incredibly well. The manager there has got a lot of kudos for that. This comes as Celtic have agreed a deal with Columbus Crew for Wilfried Nancy, but sources now suggest Asku has emerged as the front runner. It's claimed that Sunday will be O'Neill's last time in the dugout, with the new manager potentially in charge for Dundee's midweek visit. That leaves very little time to prepare the side and make changes, but having a new manager in place sooner rather than later is absolutely essential. He'll then have under a month to assess the current squad and look towards the January transfer window. It's going to be a massive winter for the club, and after the summer shambles, they cannot afford to get it wrong. In other news, Viljami Sinisalo enjoyed a memorable afternoon at Celtic Park as the Hoops came from behind to beat Motherwell 3-1. The Finnish keeper not only played his part in the win, but also ended up with an assist as Celtic pushed forward in the closing stages. The game had been tight early on. Motherwell took the lead during the first half and forced Celtic to chase the match. Yang Hyun-jun equalised before the break, but the game remained tight until the second half began to tilt the Hoops' way. Celtic pressed harder after the interval. Tomasz Kavankara's penalty put Martin O'Neill's side ahead before Yang struck again late in the game. That second goal began deep in Celtic's half when Sinisalo launched a long ball forward that caught Motherwell's defence too high. The pass dropped into space. Yang reacted quickly, ran through on goal, and finished high into the net. The move started with the goalkeeper's quick decision to play forward rather than slow the game down. Sinisalo's post summed up the mood after the game. Celtic had gone behind but kept pushing until the match finally swung their way. The goalkeeper has stepped in during a tough run of fixtures while Kasper Schmeichel has been out. Games against Rangers, Aberdeen and now Motherwell have all asked different things of him. Motherwell tested him earlier in the match. A few long shots and crosses forced him to stay alert while Celtic were still finding their rhythm. Once Celtic moved ahead after the break, his afternoon became calmer. The assist made it an even better day for the 24-year-old. Goalkeepers rarely assist goals, but his long pass showed how quickly a chance can appear when the ball is played forward early. Celtic now move on to the next league match with the title race still tight. If Sinisalo keeps performing like this, he will continue to play a big part in the final weeks of the season. Lastly, Kieran Tierney praised the support inside Celtic Park after the Hoops fought back to beat Motherwell 3-1 in the Premiership. The Scotland international felt the energy from the stands played a part once Celtic began to control the game after the break. The win arrived during a tense period around the club. The Green Brigade remained banned from attending matches, and frustration with the Celtic board has been visible among sections of the support. Despite that backdrop, the crowd still responded when the team lifted the tempo in the second half. Tierney was heavily involved in that shift. The defender pushed forward repeatedly down the left side and helped start the move that led to Celtic's first goal. His run into the final third forced Motherwell to retreat and created the moment that eventually allowed Yang Hyun-jun to level the match. The full-back noticed the difference in the atmosphere once Celtic began to play with more intensity. Kieran Tierney felt the team gave the crowd more to react to as the game opened up after the interval. He said, "I think even in the second half you could see it more so, and that's down to us because we gave them more to get behind. We were attacking better, we were pressing better, and I think the second half is how it should be going forward. We've spoken about disconnecting and all that and all the stuff that's been going on, but it felt as if everybody was taking it on. I think you can see the benefit of that. The players want all the fans behind us. We want the atmosphere to be brilliant. It's Celtic Park, it's what it's known for, so we're delighted when it's like that." Celtic's second half display showed exactly what Kieran Tierney was talking about. The team pushed higher up the pitch and forced Motherwell back toward their own box. Once Celtic started winning the ball quickly after losing it, Motherwell struggled to build anything from the back. That change in tempo lifted the stadium as well. When Celtic began attacking with more purpose, the noise followed straight away. The crowd reacted to the energy coming from the pitch. Tierney knows that connection better than most in the squad. He grew up at the club and has played in plenty of big nights at Celtic Park, where the atmosphere drives the team forward. You could feel that again late in the game. Celtic had turned the match around, and supporters responded to every press and every attack. If the team bring that level again in the weeks ahead, Tierney clearly believes the crowd will respond in the same way. That's all the latest Celtic news for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop a comment below with your thoughts. I'll see you in the next one. Hail, hail.